Hello, my curious souls. Welcome in or welcome back. So lovely to have you here. My name is Amanda, your tarot reader and host for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Thank you so much for your time and energy. It is an honor to read your cards. So in today's timeless pick a card tarot reading, we are going to get some mystery messages from Spirit in a unique way. In a way that I have not done before. So you are here in the experiment with me. Let me know if you enjoy this format. But basically, I have been called to do a 3x3x3 reading for Spirit for you. And I have a feeling this has to do with growth and expansion and the opportunities that you can find within your life for that growth and expansion. So there are 3 soul paths for you to choose from. There are going to be 3 oracle messages within each of the soul paths, and there will be 3 clarifying cards per oracle card so that we can expand on the oracle messages and get some clarity on what that oracle message is about. Now, each one of the readings within the soul paths could be an individual message on its own, or it could be one big message. We will find out once we hop into the readings today. So, as with all of my readings and the messages that you are given, remember that they are always optional for you to welcome into your life or not. So please trust your intuition and decide what feels best and aligned, and lovingly leave the rest. If you feel ready to dive into your tarot reading today, the timestamps for each one of the soul paths is in the description box. However, for those who would like an introduction, let me do that right now. So for soul path 1, we have the clear quartz crystal. For soul path 2, we have the Mookaite jasper stone. And for soul path 3, we have the pink agate stone. When you feel ready and guided, use the timestamps in the description to jump straight into your tarot reading, and we will see you over there. Hello, soul path 1. Welcome into your reading. You chose the clear quartz crystal. I feel someone's here is trying to clean out something that's bothering them or remove something that's bothering them. There's an irritation in life that I feel that has been kind of picking at you. Also, too, there's somebody here that is deciding to go back to school for something that they have been curious about learning, and they're diving into the deep end, if you will, down this path. So there's a new pathway of learning, possibly a new pathway for a career as well. And I almost wonder if this irritation that somebody is feeling is going to guide you to a new path. So to not discount the irritation, but to inquire, to look into it further, to gain that clarity, rather than have it sit and stew. What is that irritation trying to tell you? I'm also seeing a rune, which I'm going to look into, so give me one sec. So I saw the rune of Fehu, and this is a symbol of earned income, something which has to be worked for but will produce an unexpected source of revenue. So again, we spoke of that new pathway or that new course of learning that could lead to a new career, a new opportunity, etc. So I almost feel that this is what's happening for some, is that this new pathway they are exploring, because of this inquiry and the need for answers or the need for clarity or the need to learn something new. I'm seeing a lot of swords energy, so a lot of intellect and things going on in the mind, new information being absorbed is going to lead to a long-term goal or long-term wealth. There's also some fulfillment happening here and overcoming opposition. So Again, I feel like whatever is opposing you at this time, whatever is feeling irritated, I was going to say irritational, but that's not a word, is going to be the answer to what you seek, or is going to be the breadcrumb, something about breadcrumbs. So let's get 3 cards to start your reading, and then we will pull tarot. So 3 cards for Soul Path 1. Clear knowing here for sure. So we have, just before I show you, we have lock. Something is hidden or locked. So again, that lack of clarity, that lack of insight or needing to find answers. Something is behind closed doors. There's a knowledge that has not yet been accessed. Intuition, listen to your inner voice. So even though you might not have clarity in the logical sense of that external tangible thing of yes, this is correct, or no, this is not, it's all about that sensation of that inner knowing. And it doesn't necessarily come as a feeling, as, ooh, this excites me, or, ooh, this is fearful. It's more of a neutral of, this is correct at this time, regardless of whether it's exciting or fearful. There's an intuitive knowing that has no emotion to it, but it's just an inner wisdom and knowing that this is the way. And there's almost no explanation for it. You also have 2 number 6s here and a 3. So again, there's that number 3 coming through with expansiveness, growth. And then with the 6 of being balanced, something coming back into balance, or, pardon me, finding harmony in something. And then we have adventure, be open to new experiences. So I wonder if this is a singular message just because of the storyline that is playing out here. I feel like there's something that is being blocked, or you're unable to see beyond this thing, this obstacle, this irritation. So you feel stuck, or you feel like you can't move forward. But as soon as you confront that thing in using your intuition, which may not logically make sense, I feel you're going to unlock a new experience or a new pathway, a new adventure. There's some transformation that is happening here in the midst of things. So let's get into the tarot. Before I do that, you do have a 2 and a 1, which adds up to 3. So again, more 3s. The 6 and 3 is a 9, which is about our individual expression or experience in a certain situation, how we express ourselves to the world, how we deal with or manage our resources. And then the 3s, obviously, we talked about earlier with expansion, growth, but also the 2 and the 1, which is about new opportunities, new adventures, and decisions that will be made as a result of maybe a new feeling that you have about a certain pathway, or an inner knowing, you following some kind of inner knowledge or inner compass. I'm getting the Star card here. So moving towards your North Star in a stronger way, maybe not losing sight of that North Star. So because we don't have a ton of room here, we're going to go with this mini deck here. I believe this is Tarot in Wonderland, the miniature pocket version, or Wonderland Tarot. I will put it in the description box below if you're curious. Okay, so for Soul Path 1, please. Let's get some more information on what is locked or hidden from view at this time. 3 cards. Okay, so the way forward is not quite, or the plan or the strategy is not quite in view yet. Or maybe, hold on, give me a sec. Let me get my thoughts together here. Okay, so we have the moon, which is all about secrets and things that are hidden, illusions that we need to resolve or work through. First one that came out was the Two of Wands. So it's you looking out into your future, not really having a good sense of which way is the right way or which path is the right way. 10 of Swords. There could be a fear of ending something here or letting go of something, which is why this thing is locked, because it might require a little bit of a sacrifice. It's almost like you have to take some kind of a leap, some kind of commitment you have to make to walk down a path that is unknown to you. So rather than wait for certainty, because certainty doesn't necessarily exist, it's about moving through the intuitive aspect of things. And even though you don't know what's up and coming, even though you don't have any guarantees, even if there isn't any certainty, how this gets unlocked, unblocked, or resolved is movement forward. And that movement forward is going to be somewhat of a mystery. The destination is unknown here. I'm getting that song, Ruby Soho, so that could be for somebody. But I feel like where you are coming from is not necessarily the best place for you, which is maybe why you're looking for something new. You're looking for answers. You're looking to be guided to a new destination. Because something has come to a natural end, possibly a painful end. And so you're looking for what else is there? What is next? There also could be a lot on the mind as well, where you are unable to really find answers in this space. And so there's this mulling over of things, and you coming to a point where I can't go through these mental cycles anymore. I can't carry this mental burden anymore. It's too heavy. It's too painful. It's too difficult. And there's no thinking that is going to help me find the answers here. So I feel like the next steps forward are going to be you moving through a discomfort zone, you walking through something that is more intuitive in nature, and that may go against your conditioned beliefs of what is possible, of what you should be doing. But this is going to open the door to something. This is going to really expand things, because after the Two of Wands is the Three of Wands, which is expansiveness, manifestation, of really seeing your efforts start to take shape and form. But it's all about choice, and making a choice doesn't necessarily close out every other option. It is just simply stepping forward into, is this the next right thing? If not, we'll change course and try that thing. So there's somewhat of an experimentation that is happening, or a learning that is happening in this space, of how to make choices that feel energetic, that feel aligned, without necessarily having all of the information. Because I feel you've done that before with the Swords. You've taken all of the logical steps. You've maybe gone by the book, and that didn't quite work out the way you had planned. So now it's time for a new strategy, a new plan, and then taking that action according to that strategy or plan, with the intention of finding yourself in a more fulfilling place, maybe a more satisfied place, a less stressful place, a mentally expansive place. It requires movement, though. And that's what will unlock the next thing, is movement. So let's look at this intuition. Intuition. What is this intuition? Four of Cups. Whoops. That was the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. So we have the Four of Cups in reverse. We have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the Judgment in reverse. So for this part of the reading, I'm going to read this as an individual reading. This may or may not connect with the previous reading, but I'm going to read it as an individual thing, and you can apply it as you see fit. And then at the end, what I will do, if it makes sense, is to weave this all together into one story. So there is something in your life that you have been, I don't want to say ignoring, but there could be something on an emotional level that you've been overlooking, hoping that something gets better. And you have been emotionally investing in something that isn't giving you any returns. So this could be a relationship, this could be a job, this could be a hobby, a friendship, an experience, but something that you're emotionally connected to, I don't feel is feeling very satisfying for you, but you continue to show up for that. Not a bad thing. But I feel it has exhausted itself. And there's no amount of work, at least from your point of view, that is going to turn this thing around. And because of that, it is preventing you from stepping into what is meant for you, what is aligned for you. Some examples, maybe this is a friendship where you no longer have meaningful experiences or conversations like you used to. Maybe this is the irritation that I was picking up on at the beginning. Or maybe it's a job where you have put so much of your heart into this, and maybe you've scattered yourself a little thin trying to prove that you are loyal, you are a hard worker, you deserve a raise or a promotion. And it's just not coming into form in the way that you would like. So there's this feeling of retraction that is happening, or maybe needs to happen, so that you can really listen to and observe from an external point of view, observe yourself in these situations of how long has it been this way and has never changed. And do I need to do anything differently to communicate my needs, communicate my desires? Or do I simply need to stop trying to change this experience, situation, or person, and instead focus on what I'm being called to do on a higher level? And that's where the intuitive knowing is to step back, to observe, and to really listen, and to hear this inner voice that says there's something better. And it's not going to come from a feeling of excitement or elation. It's not going to come from a feeling of fear or stress, even though those feelings might come up after your internal self kind of settles on this idea. But there's an inner knowing here that you need to connect with more, because there is something in your energy that has been avoided because there is fear here of making some new choice. This almost gives me the feeling of somebody playing small and not living to their, I don't want to say their potential, because that's not always possible for a number of reasons, but really connecting in with what's really going to fulfill them, or what's really going to feel aligned for them or satisfying, or something to do with their greater good. They're playing small because of fear of being seen, or fear of success, or fear of disappointing others. If they make this choice to step into a big fish pond, if you will. So there's safety in doing things in a certain way that doesn't push us into this discomfort zone, right? Because the discomfort zone is unknown. The discomfort zone requires big things from us sometimes, but sometimes we cannot ignore that intuition because we are being called to something greater, something bigger, something different, something more aligned. And that intuition is trying to pull us in that direction. And if this isn't heeded, I feel like you will be awoken in some way and will be nudged or encouraged to go in that direction, because I do feel this is a higher calling. This is part of your path. And I feel like if you take action on this to adjust or correct or navigate this energy that you intuitively know you're feeling, then I feel it's going to be much easier than waiting for the moment where the universe might step in and say, okay, you have no choice but to step into this now. So it is transformative though, whatever it is. It is helping you reshape and reform yourself in some way. And it is helping you to identify the 100% yeses. Maybe you are investing in people or situations where you intuitively know this is a no for me, or this is misaligned or not feeling right, but I'll do it anyway because this is what's expected, this is what I feel I should be doing, or this is what the other person feels I should be doing. So just be mindful of that. And let's look at this adventure now. What is this new experience? What is this adventure? 3 cards. Okay, so we have the Empress. We have the 9 of Wands. And we have the 9 of Swords. Now, it's hard to say if these were sideways, upright, reverse, because they were kind of, well, they were more sideways than anything. So I will read them that way. I feel like the new adventure is you stepping into something that is difficult work, but rewarding work. And work that allows you to confront your fears and your stresses and your concerns head on in a way that is empowering, in a way that is nurturing, in a way that is compassionate. This is a new way of being, a new way of looking at maybe how your mind works, how your decision making works, how your actions are ruled by your thoughts or your beliefs, your core beliefs. And being able to adjust those things. So this new experience is going to be, I don't think it's going to be in a tangible form where it's a new job or a new opportunity. It could happen that way. And my ring light is flickering very subtly. It's kind of freaking me out. It's never done that before. So I feel like this is a new way of stepping into your soul's purpose. And it has everything to do with how you nurture yourself through challenges, through adversity, being able to see your resilience, being able to stand up to the stresses and the worries and the fears and be okay, no matter where you find yourself, whether it is relationships or careers or jobs or situations. You're strengthening your personal power here, your mental power. You are fortifying yourself. And there's some aspect of healing here as well, some aspect of nurturing here. Yeah, it's kind of putting yourself back together again. I feel like this is somebody learning an aspect of themselves that is hidden. This is a soul strengthening exercise that really allows you to see the beauty in challenges and the difficulty and the adversity, seeing those as an opportunity for adventure and to learn something new, to tap into a deeper part of themselves, to create more resilience in that difficulty. So it's not necessarily about trying to control the external. That will always be out of our control to a certain degree. It's about going within and understanding what we do have control over, what choices we do have to make in a specific situation or instance. And it's about building resilience within ourselves from a soul level, from a mental level, so that we can really walk the path in a very assured way, knowing that no matter what challenges are ahead, we know how to manage them. We know how to care for and nurture ourselves in those moments. We know how to adjust and adapt and navigate and change and realign and problem solve and be creative in our experiences. But I feel the key, the heart of this reading is the intuition. So I feel that's going to be a big deal in this experience, if this is a singular experience. This intuition is going to be the key. And the reason why I say that is A, it's in the middle, so it's literally at the heart of the reading. And B, all of these cards are in reverse, which means that there are blockages to listening to this inner voice. And I think once you do listen to that inner voice, there's going to be a little bit of fear that bubbles up because of that. So I do want to get some advice cards for you, just to see how to navigate that a little bit. So for Soul Path 1, how can they listen to their intuition a little bit more? Their inner voice. Queen of Cups in reverse. So more blocked energy here. The Queen is very Empress energy. Okay, more cups here. So there's a lot of emotions that I feel need to be accessed and or addressed. There's a sensitivity that's coming through. Maybe a protection of your sensitivity. Oh, there's the Empress at the bottom there. And there's the Eight of Pentacles here. So the work that I feel, I don't want to say you're avoiding, but here where you feel blocked is the work that you need to do in order to move through this. It could have something to do with your regrets, your feelings of loss or sorrow. That doesn't necessarily have to do with a death per se, but really holding space for your emotions, holding space for what you believe to be true or what you need on an emotional level. Because I feel they have been somewhat suppressed or ignored or put to the side. I'm not sure if that's out of duty, out of need, or because there's a vulnerability of sharing this or experiencing these emotions. You could need to find some emotional support by way of mentorship, counseling, coaching, so that you have that space, that actual space to emote, to feel in a non-judgmental way. Once you access those emotions and those feelings and you move them through, you're able to unlock this Eight of Pentacles, where then it becomes, you start applying things in the external world. And you start working towards mastery of these emotions, mastery of the sensitivity, knowing what you need at any given time, understanding these emotions on a deeper level rather than suppressing them and maybe trying to fit yourself in a box, or maybe trying to shove them aside so that you can be a certain person to somebody. So intuition and sensitivity is not a bad thing. These are our guideposts, so we have to pay attention to them, and I think they're being asked to be paid attention to at this moment in time, so that you can unlock something in your life and move towards new adventures, new experiences, a new way of expression, and really seeing the strength within you. I am being called to do 2 final cards for you to close your reading. I know this went way beyond 3 by 3, but that's okay. I am being guided by Spirit, so I will do what Spirit wants me to do. 2 cards to end the reading for Soul Path 1, please. Patience. Something will come with time, and a cycle might need to come to a natural end as well. Nope, not quite. 1 more, please, Spirit. Soul Path 1. And avoid drama. So this to me is just stepping away from the fray, anything that is stressful or painful. That could be this energy over here with the 10 of Swords. And again, that is also that going within. Bottom of the deck, we do have accept help. So that yin energy is that divine feminine holding space for and going with some kind of flow, allowing, receiving, opening ourselves up. And that can be a very vulnerable thing. So I feel like that's what's required at this time, to open up to that divine feminine energy a little more, opening yourself up to the feelings a little more in a safe space with the right people. Because I feel maybe your emotions were suppressed or blocked off because of some painful experience you had in the past. So now it's time to really look at those things, to listen to your inner voice, to feel the feels, and to release any emotion that has been feeling stuck, that you haven't addressed up until this point, so that you can really step into an empowered space of healing and understanding and self-compassion and growth, personal growth, emotional growth, to really overcome any future challenges in a way that feels a lot easier, so that you don't block yourself from new experiences, but you open yourself up to them. Open up to more, whatever more is for you. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 1. I do hope that resonated and was helpful for you. With gratitude, I'm sending you all my love. Stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Mookaite Jasper Stone. And we're going to hop straight into the reading today. We're going to get 3 oracle cards, which may all be connected. They may be separate. I'm not sure. But what I'm going to do is read them as separate messages, and then at the end, if it makes sense, I will combine them into one story. I'll also end the reading with any clarifiers that I might want to pull, and a couple of oracle messages. So let's see for Soul Path 2. Okay, I get a lot of really lovely energy from this group so far. A lot of nurturing energy here. So there could be somebody who's very sensitive or in tune with their emotions. Yeah, there's definitely some kind of spiritual connection, earthly connection, motherly connection that I'm getting with this. Okay, let's get into it. We have cleanse, clear space for positive energy with the number 3. And 3s seem to be a recurring theme in today's reading. So I feel like this is about everyone's growth, the collective's growth, whether that's personal, spiritual, professional. Another number 3 and a 5 with nurture, water your garden. And 43, yet another 3 with thoughts, cultivate your ideas. Very creative energy as well. Now there's some kind of energetic cleanse that I feel is happening. It's like this is ground zero. It's like you're cleaning things up and out so that you can start fresh or have fresh soil to plant new seeds in. And so there could be a shift in direction, a shift in energy where you're kind of weeding things out so that you can clear up space, clear up energy, clear out things that are no longer clicking for you. And then now that you have all this space, it's like you're cultivating new ideas. You're maybe having new thoughts or things coming through that you didn't have before. So there's a perspective shift that I feel is happening. There's new foundations to build upon here, but it doesn't come without its challenges and changes. So there could be some significant tension here as we're moving from the cleaning out to thinking about what's next. So this is very future energy. Okay, so let's get into the cards now and get more information. What is this cleanse? 3 cards for cleanse. Oh, this is very lovely cleansing energy as well. Okay, you got an extra here, so I'm just going to take the one that fell on the table rather than the one underneath. Okay, so we have Temperance. We have the King of Cups in reverse. And we have the Empress in reverse. There's another number 3 here with the Empress. So I think it's about really pulling away your energies from people who can't emotionally regulate themselves or people who are not caring for themselves. Now, this could also be an aspect of you that you're pulling away from, where you are trying to find a little more balance, emotionally speaking, maybe not feeling so reactive to people or situations or triggers that are coming up, and getting into more of an energy of clearing out that negative stuff so that you can have a little more moderation, so that you're not too involved or thrown off track when certain things happen that bring you a sense of emotional dysregulation or lack of control. I feel like that can be really, this trigger feels like it's a downward spiral in a sense, where when you are emotionally affected, it also affects how you care for yourself or not. So that could come in a form of depression, or it could come in a form of not eating well, just a lack of caring for self and spirit. Now, this could be an external person to you as well. So maybe you are trying to find more ground, more grounding energy, more tempering when it comes to a specific person in your life that cannot emotionally regulate themselves and does not care for themselves. Maybe you have been pulled into that to some degree and you're distancing yourself from that. You're cleaning that out because you want to be more balanced. And the only way to do that is to distance yourself or find some kind of process on your own that works for you a little better. Because I feel this has been affecting you. But again, it's all in moderation, right? It's all in what we engage in, how we engage with that thing, and how much we kind of take in or personalize or internalize from that thing. So to me, this is about gathering information, but also clearing out what's no longer working for you so that you can find more balance. So let's see. Nurture. Watering your garden. Nurture. 2 for nurture, please. One more, please, for nurture. Thank you. All right, so first one down, 6 of Cups in reverse. We have the 5 of Wands in the upright. And we have the 2 of Pentacles in the reverse. There's a reflection here on how you spend your time and who you spend it with, whether it is productive or not, whether it is able to be nurtured at all. There is some kind of connection to the past here that I feel you're continuing to nurture that may bring a sense of competing needs or competing desires, or maybe just a tension, an overall tension, discomfort, or scattered energy. So it's all about, which I also feel is getting you feeling a little off, feeling like you are unable to manage things. So it's almost like a distractive energy where you're trying to settle things down in a certain area of your life, but that's not possible because it is beyond your control. And I feel that could be part of a past energy, whether that is something that you've always done or whether it is a person or a situation that you have engaged with for some time. But I feel there is a call to nurture something new here. To look at where you are watering your garden. To look at the cycles that have been in your life that is causing you a sense of tension or scattered energy that is almost futile. It's futile to be engaged with something here because there is no winning. Because there's competing desires, there's competing needs, there's competing opinions, advice, etc. So nobody is getting anywhere in this particular situation. But yet there's this desire to continue to show up, to help, to change, to convince. And I feel that is kind of throwing things off for you. You're spending more time than is needed in this situation. So I feel there is a need to look at this in a more practical sense rather than an emotional one. Or even an ambitious one. This could be something that you're really driven to change. You're really driven to fix or inspire or influence in some way. But just given the 3 cards that are out, I don't think that's possible at this time. So it's looking at what are you willing to nurture at this time? What is going to offer a sense of, I don't want to say reward, but are you watering a seed or are you watering weeds? It's the silliest analogy that came to mind, but that's kind of what I'm feeling, is that you need to nurture the seeds that are going to help you progress, that are going to help you see some kind of result that you're looking for, rather than get wrapped up in the energy that is only there to distract you. Maybe not intentionally, but that is the result of this energy here. And again, there could be some emotional connections to this from the past. This could be a situation that hasn't changed in a very long time, so it's just been in this energy forever and it's unchangeable. So it's like you're hanging on to the situation for the wrong reasons. I couldn't tell you why. Only you can know that. So this is just an inquiry, to look into that a little bit further and to see where and what you are nurturing. So cultivate ideas with thoughts. Cultivate ideas. We have the Justice in reverse. We have the Three of Cups in reverse. And we have the Chariot in the upright. That's lovely. Okay. So I feel like there's a lot of thoughts about what's not right, what didn't go well, who did me wrong. And I almost wonder if there needs to be some new ideas or a simple change in direction or a shift in perspective. There's definitely a suggestion to move forward from whatever this energy might have been, so that maybe you can cultivate new ideas and see progress in a specific area of life, to see success or victory, maybe in relationships with others, could be platonic or romantic. But I feel that there's a relationship in your life that I feel is platonic. It could be a friend, it could be a network or group of people that you had some kind of contract with. It could actually be a real contract where you were with an organization that you had a contract with and things went sideways. So there's a bit of maybe regret, maybe some hurt, and this has been on your mind a lot. You're trying to justify, you're trying to kind of sift through the details of it to figure out what you did wrong or what you could have done differently or what they did wrong or what they could have done differently. And so there's a feeling of unfairness here and a disconnection from a group of people or a friend that you once thought was good. And it has been on your mind a lot. But the feeling that I'm getting is that it's not about trying to fix or change or understand necessarily. I feel like whatever lessons you're looking for here, or information or justice even, will come later. It's all about, how do I move forward from this point in a way that feels very balanced, in a way that feels very progressive, in a way that allows me to move on so that I don't get stuck in this energy. I feel like this could be a point of reflection for you. A setback, if you will. It may feel like a setback, but this is simply a readjustment point of, with what you understand now, how can you move forward with the lessons and the information, and what do you want to achieve moving forward? What does success and victory look like to you moving forward outside of this situation? Now, I will say that if you are currently in some kind of legal issue that feels unfair, there will be some kind of victory or success on the other side of that. But note that it may not look like what you think. On the surface level, it could look like unjust. It could look like the outcome was unfair and that you have now lost connection to a relationship or a network of people because of this. But I feel like there are new thoughts being cultivated in this space that is going to lead you to victory and success. So it might not be in this situation, it might happen after, with more reflection and as you process this information. The candle just went out, so Something has ended here. Something has exhausted itself. Maybe you feel exhausted, so it's time to really look forward now. Where am I in this present moment? How do I move forward? And what thoughts do I need to cultivate or change or adjust in order to do that? How can I take control of my destiny or situation or circumstance by using my thoughts to craft those actions moving forward, rather than allowing a specific situation from my past and something that felt unfair, something that made me feel betrayed? How can I really transmute that into finding the right people, to finding the right contracts, to finding the right connections? And what does that realistically and practically look like for me in the real world? And more importantly, there's an intuitive feeling that I'm getting from this, where was there any intuitive knowing that something was not feeling quite aligned or right or disconnected in some way? How can you use that information on your next journey, on your next adventure, in your next connection? What are those check-in points? But there's something about new ideas being bubbled up from a situation that kind of feels a little off. So I do want to get clarifiers for these, so I'm going to, not clarifiers necessarily, but let's get some ideas on how to move through this situation. Something's consuming your thoughts. How do you move through this situation? How to move through this situation. Queen of Pentacles. It is in the sideways position. So this is about really focusing on what's important to you, truly important to you. What would you like to commit to in the long term? How are you going to turn your, what am I trying to say here? Give me a minute. How do you move towards your long-term goals? And the Knight of Swords, also in the sideways position. So considering long-term goals, I think is going to really get you out of a certain past experience or a certain situation that you're moving through. It's kind of looking ahead and also nurturing that thing as well. Really having the time, spending the time, investing whatever you need to invest into that thing that is really important to you, which I don't think is the situation. I think there's a goal that you have personally that you would like to achieve that has nothing to do with the situation. So there's a redirection that I feel is happening here. And the Knight of Swords in the sideways position. Don't move too quickly through this. Don't make any harsh decisions or have any harsh reactions, because I feel the reactions are going to prevent any progress or movement moving forward. So this is really tapping into how you're thinking right now and how your thoughts are guiding your actions, and should they be at this time. To me, this feels very fiery. A little bit of brashness here, and I'm not sure if that's because of the people involved in this or that's just how you're feeling. But the Lovers, which I love, especially paired with the Chariot there, this is moving towards the things that you love, the people that you really value and that value you, the circumstances or situations that are going to bring you a sense of joy or fulfillment or success or a certain level of wealth or security that you're looking for. Again, it's looking ahead and aligning those decisions and those thoughts to what you want next, not what has happened. Not trying to possibly, for some, get revenge, but to allow and accept for now and focus on what you can do, what you can control, what's important, what values you want to reinforce in your life, and how this situation can positively inform your future. Now, if I were to string this all together, I feel like this situation might have something to do with this over here. There's an unfairness of, why do I have to do some kind of work to clean this out when they're the ones that have the issues that need to change, that need to adjust, that need to do work. I get it. There's an unfairness that's coming through, and why do I have to be the one to make these tough decisions, or to step away, or to make adjustments, or to navigate, when it's them that is completely throwing everything off due to their unwillingness to deal with their emotions, or their unwillingness to take care of themselves in some way. So it almost like it falls on you, and that weighs pretty heavy on the mind. But again, how are you engaging with this? How are you showing up for yourself? How are you showing up for this other person or these other people? And is there more involvement than there needs to be at this time? So again, coming back to that focus of, what do I need to focus on? To me, this is about your goals, your needs, your actions. And moving away from this energy, consciously making that shift, and watering something new, watering a new garden, watering new seeds. That's what that Queen of Pentacles is. Cultivating your own ideas and clearing out this energy as best you can, so that it doesn't influence you and affect your future. So 2 cards for Soul Path 2. Embrace uncertainty. So there could be some uncertainty as you move through this energy, as you kind of make some shifts, but I think that there's going to be some positive changes as a result of you making some difficult but necessary changes in your world. It's going to bring in a better sense of balance. It's going to not have this person affect certain outcomes or get you wrapped up in their drama. This is you kind of refocusing. And I know there's this feeling over here that I can't quite detach from, that you want them to learn their lesson. You want them to make changes and do better. But I feel like that's not your job. I feel like you refocusing on your health, your wellness, your goals is part of their lesson. So your lack of engagement and your shift in direction, your shift in your thoughts, and what you decide to nurture and water is going to help them and help affect change. It may be without you, but you cannot focus on that right now, because it is not your job, it is not your responsibility, even though you might want that to be. But changes and enchanted changes, that's really lovely. So there's definitely changes, but I feel like they are going to be really magical in the end. And we kind of see that here. You know, the shifts that you are considering doing is going to be really lovely and inspiring to you, possibly inspiring to other people that have not shown up for you in the way that you've wanted. So don't be afraid of the uncertainty and the changes that you have to make in order to realign and rebalance yourself, because it will inspire others, it will affect others, and it will allow you to step into and onto your own path here. Step into your truth, quite possibly, at the bottom of the deck here. So I feel like you're really rising into your truth here. And that might not be easy. but I feel like it's necessary for your own personal growth, health, and well-being. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 2. I hope that resonated and was helpful. With gratitude, I'm sending you love. Stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome into your reading. We're starting your reading out with a fresh candle because it exhausted itself in Soul Path 2. So there's something about fresh starts here, fresh beginnings. That could be very general and very standard. And not very specific, but I feel like you can pinpoint what that might mean for you, because I do feel the collective is moving through some endings and new beginnings here. Now, I am seeing a leopard does not change their spots or stripes. A zebra doesn't change their stripes. No, something about spots. So something about your identity. Maybe you're showing more of who you are to people. Maybe you're showing your spots, your uniqueness to people. You're not hiding anymore. You are being open and honest and vulnerable, and that's a very scary thing. So that could be a new thing for somebody. That could be the new beginning that I'm feeling and seeing. Now, there's also some love energy coming through as well. So there could be some new relationships blooming for some of you. Obviously, not all of you. But this also could be just a lot of self-care coming through as well. And moving through this energy of self-expression and self-acceptance, that is a form of self-love, is to really embrace your flaws, to embrace all aspects of you, and to be okay sharing that with people that you trust and that you value and that value you. So there's a heart center that is opening and expressiveness that's coming through because of that. So that's really beautiful. That's just a opening reading there. I don't know if it has anything to do with your message today, but let's get some cards out for you. We're going to get 3 oracle messages to start the reading. I'm going to read them as individual messages, and then we'll string them together if it makes sense at the end. And then we will pull any clarifying cards or guidance cards for any, combinations that I'm curious about learning more about. And then we'll get some more oracle cards at the end to close your reading. So let's take a peek at what's going on for you. So we have opportunity with the number 3, and 3s are very prominent in this reading tonight. 4s are all about foundations. So this is about expanding your foundations, building up on something, finding opportunities that will create new pillars in your life. And the chance is in your hands. So I almost feel like action is required in order for you to seek this opportunity out. I'm not sure if you are waiting to receive an opportunity or to hear back on an opportunity, but I feel for the most of you, this is you having to go out and make the opportunities appear, because I feel they are hidden. They are going to be something that you have to discover or uncover. Also, too, there's a pearl is made through irritation. So Soul Path 1 got similar message to that, where there was an irritation they needed to pay attention to that could turn into that pearl, which I'm getting here. So there's an irritation or something that is kind of nitpicking at you that could potentially be the path to a new opportunity. So pay attention to kind of the less obvious ways in which we can find opportunity. And then detour with another number 3 and a 7. So there's a change of course happening here, possibly due to some kind of setback. But there's a redirection happening. Again, I feel it could be part of that irritation, but I'm going to try to keep these separate for the time being. And then we have change. Fear is not a good advisor. And this reminds me of the Wheel of Fortune or the Wheel of Change. And this is all about the choices that we make in that change. We can't necessarily control all of the changes that happen in our life, but we do have choice on how we show up in those opportunities, in those changes. Are we going to resist it? Are we going to avoid it? Are we going to embrace it and do our best and bring our most creative selves to the table? So I feel like there's a lot of things going on in this reading. So let's get into the tarot and see what's happening for Soul Path 3. What is this opportunity? 3 cards. Definitely a new path here. But again, it's not something that looks like an opportunity. It's very unassuming. It's something that you'll have to create as well. So we've got the Page of Wands. And the page is very adventurous and very curious, using their creativity to their advantage and using their vision to bring life to barren lands. So in these page cards, they're in this Page of Wands, he's in the desert. And all he has is his big picture vision. Nothing is there yet. No seeds have been planted. There's almost a feeling of this isn't possible because I'm in the desert. Nothing grows here. But his vision and his faith in that vision goes way beyond what's in the reality. So I feel, A, this message of you having to create an opportunity is very valid. And B, talking about sand and desert and irritation creating a pearl, this is where the pearl is formed, is in a barren land, in a land that you wouldn't even expect is going to create anything or host anything. So to stay open-minded and to use your creativity and your vision to create opportunities or uncover opportunities that are unassuming here. And then the 9 of Swords, as well as the 9 of Cups. So you're going to have to really tap into how you think about something and how you feel about something, because those are going to be your guides on how to adjust. The feeling of stress and anxiety and overthinking can really get us trapped into not making decisions or moving forward or staying stuck in a specific cycle. So that could be happening here, where maybe you think about creating something new from the ground up, from scratch, where nothing exists, but then all of a sudden all of these doubts and fears and stresses come in that really have you overthinking things, that really stress you out and kind of overwhelm your mind with stuff. Maybe it's beliefs, maybe it's thoughts, maybe it is fears. But it's all on how you manage that. Are you going to listen to those fears? Are you going to let the stresses be a block to this opportunity? Are you going to look at these stressors and anxieties and fears and really look underneath the deeper feeling underneath those to understand, what is this fear trying to tell me? Is it because I'm nervous that this could be something and that I could be successful? Or is there fear that I'm not enough, or I can't do this, or I can't see it through? Which then you can go a level deeper to say, well, maybe I need to learn something new so that I can move forward in a way that is very sustainable, very logical, that allows me to move through the stresses and fears in a way that's productive rather than suppressive. And also looking at how you manage your emotions through it all, and how your thinking, how your thoughts are impacting your emotions, and how your emotions are impacting your actions or your lack of action. So there's opportunity in how you're managing something, how you're seeing something or thinking about something, your perspective. I think that if you go a few layers deeper than the surface level reaction or the surface level emotion, you're going to find possibly some core beliefs that need to be released or adjusted or shifted, and possibly looking at what it is that you truly desire to bring to life, what it is that you truly wish to create or to form in your life. What is it that you need or feel like you need to express in the world? There's some deeper meanings here that I feel could really help. I don't know what those are. That's going to be different for everybody. But you're in this moment of looking at that right now. So, yeah. Do not be afraid to look at those things, is what I'm hearing, because there is opportunity on the other side of that. There is wish fulfillment on the other side of that. So it's almost like don't let your fears and your overthinking, maybe the stress of success, kind of take you out of the game. Okay, so detour. What is this change of course? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Ace of Cups in reverse with the Six of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. So definitely a new direction. It's like you started something and then had a mindset shift and decided to do something else because it was maybe more aligned or maybe more practical, maybe less chaotic or tumultuous. Now, this could have been in reaction to something in your life as well, where you felt really overwhelmed in a situation or your emotions were suppressed in a certain situation. This could even be you deciding that you don't want to get involved in a specific relationship. So there's that shift that happens when we thought we wanted one thing and we shift into something new because of that. There's a mindset shift that has happened. So moving away from challenges, changes, and difficulty, and really seeing progress on that path. There is opportunity here. So there's a swap of opportunity where, yeah, there is something more practical, something that you can really invest in the long term. So I feel like this is a really positive shift. And you weren't too far down the path with this other opportunity either. So it's almost like you made this decision in divine time. It's almost like you thought you were passionate about something, but it wasn't for you. You knew that it wasn't for you. So it's almost like you used your intuition or your instinct to change course here. And this new pathway, I feel, is going to be more stable, more secure, offer you a sense of comfort and stability, but it requires a lot more time, energy, and possibly money over the long term in order to receive those fruits. So this feels like a very, I don't want to say fluid opportunity, but there was a path that you were on that was almost very fluid, and I want to say a little unpredictable. So you're opting for something that is a little more predictable, even though that's not 100% guaranteed. There are going to be obstacles, there are going to be challenges, but I feel you're up for this challenge, you're up for this change of course, and I feel overall it's going to be a better pathway for you, something that feels more aligned, that doesn't feel emotionally draining, that doesn't feel overwhelming, that is really solid and secure. So that's pretty awesome there. So what does this change? What does this change for Soul Path 3? Okay, so we have the Six of Wands in reverse. We have the Eight of Pentacles in the upright, and we have the Page of Cups in the upright. Okay, so your cups here, or pardon me, that's the Six of Wands, not cups. Okay. I feel like the change that is happening is a result of some kind of time or work or energy that you have invested in something. This is some kind of mastery. It's almost like there's something here that you didn't receive reward for, that maybe you didn't receive acknowledgement for, or maybe that's the entire reason why you were putting effort into something that you were trying to achieve is for that external validation or reward. But you want something a little deeper. You want to make change so that you do feel maybe a little more fulfilled, a little more satisfied, but also a little more creative and playful. Maybe tapping into your intuitive nature as well. But that requires a lot of work if that's the direction you would like to go. Yeah, the change feels more self-focused, and that's not self-centered. Self-focused means you are no longer taking action for the approval of others. You are no longer putting yourself out there or putting your energy into something that feels superficial or that, you just do for the sake of it, that has no deeper meaning for you. I feel like you're really trying to master something so that you can feel more satisfied or more connected to your inner child, maybe your soul, the sensitivity, the imagination, the creativity. And this is a brand new way of doing something as well, because it is in its initial stages, because it is a page. It is somewhat of a new path. It's like you're taking this new opportunity and you're kind of running with this. So that is the change that's happening here, is that the way in which you approach something is changing. Almost the purpose or the mission of why you're doing, your why is changing. So that could have to do with work. It could have to do with your hobbies. That could have to do with whatever you apply yourself to in the world. But I feel a lot of work is required in order to master that, and it's about showing up for that thing every day, a little bit every day, so that you can really get into the groove of creation, of mastering the skill, so that you can take all of that information, you can take all of that skill and start applying it on this new pathway. Yeah, something was definitely feeling a little out of balance for you as well, and not very exciting anymore. So you decided maybe you are gaining a new skill so that you can do something completely different in your career. Or maybe your business is changing, but you've had to, or you will need to, put in a good amount of work over a period of time to make that transition. So if I were to put this all together now, I do feel like these are quite separate from each other. Although you can tell me if you find any through lines through this. I do feel that if any of these were connected, I think it's these two, the opportunity and the change. Because the opportunity that is here is going to require a lot of change and work on your effort in order to have this opportunity arise. And I do feel like your opportunity has something to do with creativity or creation, some kind of vision or imagination coming to life. But there's some personal blockages in the way, and you need to redefine your why, of why you're doing something, of what your emotions and your thoughts are trying to tell you, especially those ones that tell you to not do anything, or to stay where you are, or to not make a shift or a change. This to me is very isolated in the sense that it's very straightforward of making a decision and you're changing directions. It's very obvious, but I'm not sure. It could have something to do with these other two as well, where you actually come to this detour and start making some mindset adjustments in order to see the change and make this shift into some new opportunities. But I feel overall, in each one of these, you are going to be the harbinger of change. You are going to be the unearther of opportunity and to move yourself through a detour through this change of course. I don't feel there's a ton. I don't feel at all that this is universal energy that is shifting you in a new direction. This is all self-guided. So it's going to be up to you. The chance and the change is in your hands. So it's all up to you on what changes you want to make, how you want to make them, and what you need to do to make that happen. I do want to get, before I get into oracles, I do want to get a sense for what this Ace of Pentacles is. What is this Ace of Pentacles? The Lovers. So it's definitely something that you're aligning to, that is very balanced in what you want to do, your love, whatever that is. That could be in career. So something that you've really desired to do for a long time. You're now taking this leap. You're making this slow shift into that direction. But it's also, it could also be for some an actual relationship as well, where you are moving away from a relationship that is very stressful, maybe toxic, that gets you into anxiety, and you are pulling away from that energy that makes you feel a little ungrounded. You're having a mindset shift and finding something that is a little more stable, more grounded, something that you can commit to in the long term. And it's all about choices, regardless of whether this is relationship, regardless of whether it is a business we want to start, a course that we want to take. This is all about aligning ourselves to what can we commit to in the long term. And what is it that we're going to really love committing to in the long term? So I feel like that's what's happening here. And I do want this Page of Cups. What is this Page of Cups? Sorry, I do want clarity, I should say, on the Page of Cups. The Five of Pentacles. Okay, so I feel like this is moving you away from some isolated energy here, of some challenging energy, of maybe not feeling like you can achieve your dreams, like you can build abundance. This is you really challenging that energy, I feel. The page, the inner child in you, is really challenging this idea of, I can do big things, and I'm going to believe in these big things and move beyond this difficulty with curiosity, with creativity, with imagination, and I'm going to step into that. And I think this Eight of Pentacles is really going to help you with that. So it's holding space for, having compassion for that inner child that might be struggling through change, to show up for that inner child in a way that feels like you can provide some kind of security or self-expression. There's a playfulness that comes through challenge and change that I feel is really going to do wonders. And there's also this idea of fresh new beginnings that unearth because of the challenge and the change that you move through. But it's all about how you choose to perceive it as well, how you choose to move through that change, and to understand that fear is not a good advisor. And this is a very fearful scarcity mindset that could really make you believe that this is all that you're worthy of, is this experience of adversity and challenge. But are you going to transmute that into something of inspiration, that you can really find new opportunities in this place, maybe find assistance to help you move through that, to maybe provide a certain sense of playfulness and confidence to that inner child, to have it understand that you're going to be okay, and that support might be required for a temporary time as you move through this change, but you will be renewed, you will be refreshed once this change has occurred. So it's all about the choices that we make and how we internalize or personalize these experiences as well. So obviously we need to feel what we need to feel, but to not sit in that and believe that to be true. It's difficult, but it doesn't necessarily mean that is our destination. And it's not, because the 5 is that middle point, that valley of despair, where things feel really hard, but then they start balancing out again and rising. But I do feel there's going to be a lot of inspiration in that space, so keep your eyes open. And again, going back to that opportunity the chances in your hands, and the opportunity comes where the pearl is developed from that grit, from that irritation. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, so you have enchanted and faced your fears. So this is about deciding to face your fears, but also looking for the magic where you may not see it in unexpected places. We have this complete darkness here, but there is a moon in the middle of this. It is shedding beautiful, soft light on the water. And it's kind of through this opening, this doorway. So it's all about perception and how you view these experiences, how you view yourself, and where can you find the magic? Where can you find the pearl of wisdom in that irritation, in the darkness, in the difficulty, in the change, in the detours? Where's the magic? Let's look for the magic and the enchantment in this experience so that we don't get held back by our fears and we don't suffer because of that resistance, but we are eased into something new, something that is more aligned, that will be solid and secure and really joyful. And face your fears. That's pretty straightforward. I feel like this is an experience in facing your fears and shifting your perspective when it comes to the detours and the changes that you experience. How are you going to glean opportunities in this? What can you learn from your fears? What are they trying to tell you beyond the surface of the initial reaction of, I don't want to do this, or this is scary, or I'm resisting this, or I don't want to do this? What is it really? What's underneath that? I feel like there's something underneath that. The magic lies beneath the fears. And the magic lies in face of fear. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 3. I do hope that resonated and was helpful to you. With gratitude, I'm sending you love. Stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading.